Okay. What did he say?
Good afternoon. I'm going to ask you to keep your seat because we're going to switch our agenda around today. But it is so good to see so many of you. It is a great day to be a Kiwanian. Kids need Kiwanis, and Kiwanis needs you. So please come and join us again, a fantastic group. Our speaker has another engagement, so we're going to shift our agenda. He is going to come speak first. I'm going to ask if Jason will introduce our speaker for us, and then we will move into our defining statement and the rest of our business after his presentation. So thank you, and come on up.
Thank you so much, and apologize for the switch, but I do want to introduce, I have 5 guests today, and I'd like to introduce each of them before we begin. First, this is Laura Breeden. She's a photographer and a colleague of mine in the communications department. And Laura is an Averett University graduate, and she lives in Alamance County now. And then I also have Roger Blackwell is here with us, and Roger is the commissioner's driver, and he's from Randolph County. And I have my deputy director, Barry Smith, who lives in Graham, and Barry is a longtime journalist like I am and works in the communications department. And then I also have Jessica Gibbs, deputy. She is one of our regional directors and does a lot of outreach for us. And then finally, it's my great honor to introduce my boss, your state insurance commissioner in his second term, Mike Causey. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Buck Lattimore, for all I did is mention that to Buck, that I had another engagement. Next thing I know, it's all taken care of. So I know who to ask. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for what you do. I know there's a lot of distinguished folks in your membership, but it's an honor and privilege for me to serve you as your insurance commissioner and state fire marshal. And I'm a former Kiwanian. When I started in Charlotte in the insurance business decades ago with the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, MetLife was a big believer in people getting involved in civic clubs, local politics, know what's going on in your community. And so I became a member of the Hornet's Nest Kiwanis Club, which was a new Kiwanis club. It was the young professionals in Charlotte. We met every Thursday morning for breakfast at 7 a.m. And I did that for 10 years until I moved out of Charlotte, and then ended up becoming a member of a Lions Club. So thank you all for what you do. And you're right about the young people. The key clubs that we have are very important. Most of these civic organizations today are sort of like our volunteer fire departments. It's harder and harder to recruit new members. And there's some areas, this part of the state is fortunate. We have growth in Wake County, people moving here every day. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, he got me an application. Thank you so much. Give him a hand. I'm gonna hold on to this. We'll fill it out for you. Thank you. But I forgot what I was going to talk about. But it is everywhere you go across the state, especially a lot of these counties are losing population, especially in the rural areas. And I know our volunteer fire departments, for the most part, are struggling to recruit volunteers, struggling to retain volunteers. And we see it all the time in most civic clubs in the majority of the counties, where the membership's getting older and older, and a lot of young people are not so interested in getting involved with civic activities. But my focus over the past 7 years in my term as insurance commissioner has been consumer service and making sure that people that need help get help. I know that nobody in this room's ever had a problem with the insurance claim or getting a claim paid on time or anything like that. But I will say, if you do have a problem, or if you know somebody that's got a problem, give us a call, or you can go to our website, ncdoi.gov, and on that website is a little button, file a complaint. It takes about 45 seconds, Buck, to file that complaint online. And most of the time, people get really good results. They're, even if whether they call us or email us or fill out that complaint form online. And I'll give you one example of the kind of feedback I get from the public. I got a letter from a man way over in, it was in Fairview, North Carolina, outside of Asheville. And I didn't know what it was about. He had all these letters at the end of his name. He was a PhD, and he had a lot of other letters. And I said, this is a very educated man. And he said, Commissioner Causey, I'm writing to thank you for what your office did to help me. And basically, he said for 5 months, he was in this battle with his insurance company and another insurance company. There was 2 insurance companies, and he named them. One was State Farm and one was Travelers. I'm not sure which was his, but both companies were fighting each other. He was caught in the middle. He didn't say, I'm assuming it was an automobile accident situation, but he said he was so frustrated and didn't know where to turn, and out of sheer desperation, he contacted the Department of Insurance and filed a complaint. And he said, I had the claim settled and a check in my account by the end of the week. And he said, that's what I call service. And those are the types of feedback I get from consumers across North Carolina. So if you know somebody that's dealing with that, tell them, just to give us a call. We'll contact the insurance company and we'll contact the policyholder, get both sides, and get it settled. Now, if it's not covered in the policy, we can't make them pay. But if it's covered in the policy, they will have to pay. Another thing we do is help seniors with Medicare, whether it's a Medicare supplement policy or prescription drug prices or whatever. The Seniors Health Insurance Information Program, the SHIP program, has been around a long time. I think, Buck, you were in the department when that started under Commissioner Jim Long, so it's getting close to 30 years. We've already passed the 25-year mark, but we have volunteers all across North Carolina in every county. We have almost 1,000 volunteers that work in our senior centers, and they help seniors answer their questions, get them help about the high cost of prescription drugs, and help them with Medicare supplement policies. And we're not trying to sell anything, so it's unbiased opinion. We have Safe Kids North Carolina. Safe Kids also started under Commissioner Jim Long over 25 years ago. And as insurance commissioner, I serve as state chairman of Safe Kids North Carolina. And we work with law enforcement agencies, with police departments and sheriff's offices and fire departments, where we have these safety checkpoints where parents can take their automobile in and get their child's passenger safety seat checked at no charge. We give away child passenger safety seats. You probably saw on the screen Operation Medicine Drop. That's a drug take-back program where we work with the law enforcement all across the state. We have drug take-back events partnered with ATF, with the Attorney General's office. And since the program started in 2010, we've collected over 280 million pills. Try to get people to clean out their medicine cabinets and get rid of those old prescription drugs so they don't end up in the wrong hands. we were down in Wilmington. Novant Health was doing a drug take-back event with us, and I was down there one Saturday morning, and we had people driving up, dropping off bags of old prescription drugs. And this one man came in a pickup truck, and he got out, and he had a box. It was that wide, this tall, and it was full from the bottom to the top of old drugs. And I said, "Where did you do? Have a neighborhood drug take-back program?" He said, "No, that's all from my mother-in-law. She passed away." And apparently a lot of these drug companies now get people to do mail order, and mail order, they'll want to send you 3 months supply, 6 months supply. The prescription doesn't work, and they say, "We'll send you another one." And we see it all the time now, where somebody passes away and they have almost a room full of prescription drugs. So this is a lot of where these things get picked up by the drug dealers, and sometimes we have children that have died from actually picking up these old drugs. So make sure you check your house, and if you've got any old drugs in the medicine cabinet or in drawers, get them out. We've got drop boxes everywhere, 480 locations, permanent locations across the state. We keep a drop box in the downtown in the Albemarle building as you walk in the front door. You can go to most law enforcement agencies. They'll have a permanent drop box there. Some fire departments, some of the drugstores, Walgreens and CVS, some of those have them. We oversee building inspections. A lot of people don't realize that. Engineering codes, building inspections, all of that is under the Department of Insurance. When I took office in 2017, the Industrial Commission was under the Department of Commerce. And the legislature got in touch with me, and they said, "Would you consider having the Industrial Commission under you?" Well, I wasn't really looking forward to that, but I didn't want to oppose it because we had a budget we were trying to get passed. And Buck can tell you that sometimes it pays to cooperate with the legislature. And so they said, "Don't worry, nothing's going to happen for at least 2 or 3 years. We're going to look at it, and eventually you'll oversee it." Well, that 2 or 3 years turned out to be about a month. And by July of 2017, we had the Industrial Commission under the Department of Insurance, but it's an independent agency. So those people are appointed by the governor. I don't have a lot to say, but we provide all the support for human resources, payroll, a lot of other things. So if anybody has any questions about the Industrial Commission, I defer to Buck Lattimore. He was commissioner for many years over the Industrial Commission. So if you got complaints, know anybody, workers' comp has gone down, so that's a good, the rates that people pay, that's a good thing. I'm just trying to say there's really so many things under the Department of Insurance that people don't realize. We oversee collection agencies, small loan companies, these premium finance companies. Of course, we regulate insurance companies, insurance agents. Now, there's a big misconception about insurance rates. The Commissioner of Insurance in North Carolina does not set the insurance rates. We have a separate rate bureau, the North Carolina Rate Bureau, that represents the insurance industry, and they're the ones that actually come up with the rates. I only have the authority for 2 words, yes or no. And so far, during my term as commissioner for the past 7 years, I've always said no. But it's a very complicated process. They have to give us justification. So when they do a filing to raise your car insurance rates or your homeowners, it's usually 2,000 pages plus that we have to go through with our actuaries and attorneys. And if I say no, I'm required to set a court date for a hearing, which is usually 10 months down the road. And so far, every time I've set a hearing date, the insurance industry's come back to us and said, could we sit down and talk about it? And we have, and I've required them to justify what they're asking for. And we have allowed some, I think on one of the automobile cases, they were trying to get a 25% increase, and they ended up with a 3 or 4. And we don't have much control over the health insurance. That's more of there's a lot of federal laws and some state laws. We have some say so, but a lot less on the health insurance. One big thing that I enjoy is working with our fire departments. And when you're elected insurance commissioner, you're also elected a state fire marshal. And I just want to take a minute to thank all of our first responders out there, the firefighters and law enforcement. And I was down in Montgomery County last night, and I presented an award to a firefighter at the Montgomery Fire Department. It was in Troy, the Troy Fire Department. But and you got to realize, most in the Raleigh Fire Department, most of them are paid firefighters. You go to places like Montgomery County and Troy, they're all volunteers. I mean, these guys don't get paid a dime. They're volunteering their time to keep the community safe. And I presented a heroism award to this firefighter, and he was able to, it was a car on fire with a mother and 2 children in the car. And he came on the scene and pulled the 2 children and the mother out, saved their lives. And it was one of these things where this is terrible. But it turns out the mother had intentionally set the fire trying to kill her children. And so she is now in the Montgomery County Jail. But these are the types of things that these first responders see every day. You know, they'll come on a tragic accident out on the interstate, and they have to deal with it, with the pools of blood and all that. And I've talked to a lot of them. We have law enforcement, we have sworn law enforcement agents, special agents that work for the Department of Insurance, and they're similar to the State Bureau of Investigation. They are sworn, they can make an arrest in any county, in any town. They have authority to make arrests anywhere in the state. We primarily go after insurance fraud, white collar crime, arson investigations. But every once in a while, if it's really necessary, they'll pull a driver over on the highway. Now, we have a partnership with the State Highway Patrol. When they do that, we call in the Highway Patrol to take over. But that's not our main function. When I took this job, we didn't have many people in law enforcement to cover the whole state. I think we had about 18. I now have 60 sworn officers to cover the state. I'd like to have 600, but we got to get there. There's just a lot of insurance fraud, and every one of these officers that works with us, a lot of them are retired state troopers or retired sheriffs, and they have seen their share of tragedies out there, and they have to live with this every day, things that we don't think about. And so there's a lot of need when it comes to mental health treatment and the needs that these firefighters and first responders have. But when there's something going on, if it's a 50th anniversary of a fire department or a dedication of a new fire department, or fire chiefs retiring. We were in Asheville not long ago for the fire chief up there's retirement. I try to go personally if I can, to show our appreciation, for what they do, because they do a good service. In closing, I just want to make some comments about how important your local fire department is to your homeowner's insurance. People don't think about this, and Buck knows it inside and out, but there's a direct correlation to wherever you live to the rating, what we call the ISO class rating that your fire department has, and what you pay for homeowners insurance. if you're out in a rural county with no fire hydrants and no really prevalent sources of water, you may be in a class 10 is unrated. Those people are paying the highest homeowners premiums. And it goes all the way up to a 1, class 1 being the best. Greensboro was the first city in North Carolina to get a class 1, and then it was Charlotte, Raleigh. And when I took office, we had 6 class 1 fire departments. There was one problem I noticed when I took this job, and I learned it from traveling the state, and some of the fire chiefs would say, I hadn't seen anybody from Raleigh in 15 or 20 years as far as our ISO class rating inspection. And I said, let's get a printout. I got a printout of every fire department, and right now we have 1,219 fire departments. There's over 2,000 fire stations, but some departments have 3 or 4 stations. And we had fire departments in this state that had not had an ISO class inspection in 15 or 20 years. There was one near Newbern in Craven County. It had been 28 years. Now that's not good for the community. And I said, why did this happen? How did the department get in this shape? And they said, Commissioner, we only have 5 inspectors to cover 100 counties. And I said, well, wouldn't it help if we had a few more inspectors? And they agreed. And so I was able to hire 3 additional inspectors. And they started in November of 2017. So we went from 5 fire inspectors to 8. And I just got the report. I had it somewhere here. This is I had them, I printed it off this morning. That's the latest report. Since we put those 8 on, almost 75% of all the fire departments in the state of North Carolina have improved and upgraded their ISO class rating. Instead of 6 class 1 fire departments, today we have 28. Think about that, from 6 to 28 in a little over 6 years. And we've got towns like Wilson, Rocky Mount, Hickory, in Rowan County, small towns like Granite Quarry that are now a class 1. It's almost incredible. We had 11 or 12 class 2s, and there's not a whole lot of difference between a class 1 and class 2. Sometimes it's a half a point or a point. But today we have 85 class 2 departments, and more than 600, I believe, fire departments that went from a class 9 to a class 6 or higher. Not one department went from a class 9 to a class 4. Well, if you're at a class 9 and your department goes to a class 6 or 5 or 4, you're going to pay a whole lot less for your homeowners, and that's exactly what happened. We had people calling their agents. You made a mistake. My insurance didn't go up, went down. But I just want to thank all the folks involved with the fire. How many volunteer firefighters, anybody here involved with the fire departments? Anybody in this group? Well, Buck, you were, so I'll count you. But thank you all for having me. And again, if there's anything we can do to help you at the Department of Insurance, give me a call. My email is my name, mike.causey@ncdoi.gov. Send me anything, and I probably ran over my time unless you all have any questions.
I had no idea there were ratings of fire departments. Can I look at my insurance policy and find that?
No, you'll have to call your local fire department, and they'll tell you. They usually have a certificate up on the wall.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I am a former architect, and I want to thank the department for all of their help in looking after us architects with the codes and the fire ratings and everything, anytime we needed information, we could just pick up the phone and call, and you all were there. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Sometime when you got time, I'll give you some history of some architects from the early 1900s. But there is something. There is a bill in the House right now. It's a big inspections bill. It's House Bill 488, and we try to work closely with the home builders, but there's somebody within the home builders. They're trying to change everything about everything in the Building Code Council in one bill with this bill. My job is to look after you all as far as consumers for consumer safety. So there's some troubling things in this bill, like with the residential, they're wanting to set up a separate residential Building Code Council. I don't have a problem with that, but we've got to have those codes reviewed every 3 years. And there's something in to make the residential from, a duplex 2 to 3 to house 3 or 4 families. And if we do that, we've got to make sure the fire codes are in place and the public safety is in place. And so that's where we're coming from. We're not opposing it all. We're just saying that you need to take a hard look at it. So anybody interested in that, look up 480, House Bill 480. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, how did you decide you wanted to be the commissioner of insurance? What made you run?
Well, I don't know, maybe I wasn't thinking right, but my background was engineering. I was in civil engineering. My goal was to be a civil engineer. I was in the Army. I served overseas as military police, still studying engineering. And I was field engineer, Burlington Industries, Klopman Mills, laid out their plants, and I went back to school in Charlotte, UNC Charlotte. And one day I was in the library, and these guys walking around like this young man with coat and tie, recruiting for Metropolitan Life Insurance, and they had these job ads all over the campus. We'll pay you while you're training. I don't remember, it was a lot of money. It seemed like $300 or $400 a week. I was broke. And I thought, I might want to talk to these fellas. And I started reading about insurance sales and got interested in it and started in the insurance business. And as I said earlier, MetLife wanted you to get involved in civic clubs, local political races. So I helped. Ed Peacock was running for mayor of Charlotte, and I volunteered to help in that campaign and just got involved with politics and stayed involved. And I don't mean to talk politics in front of anybody, but I grew up, my family were staunch Democrats, and my granddaddy hated Republicans. And when I was in the Army, I registered Republican, and I don't think my granddaddy ever got over that. But, and y'all know what I'm talking about. But I just got involved and helped in different races. And one year I was helping Senator Jesse Helms' campaign up in Guilford County, and we were running that office, and he was supposed to lose big in Guilford County, and he didn't lose big, he just lost, but he ended up winning. It was against Harvey Gantt, mayor of Charlotte, and Jesse Helms won, and somebody asked me, why don't you run? And so Jim Long, I considered a friend of mine, but they didn't have, the Republicans couldn't get anybody to run statewide. So I ended up doing it, learning a lot statewide, and ran against Wayne Goodwin in 2012. He beat me, but not by much. And I didn't want to do it again. And, I really thought we ought to have a woman run. A woman will get more votes statewide than a man, and ended up being talked into running in 2016, and I beat him. And so he came back and ran against me in 2020, and I beat him again. Now he's commissioner of DMV, so we work together pretty good. So, and I think I'll do it again. They want me to do it one more time, so But that's how it happened. More than you wanted to know. Yes, sir.
Do you think the frequency of speeding drivers is affecting the insurance rate? And if so, is there anything we can do about it?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, speeding is one of the leading causes of accidents. And I'm on the roads every day because my home is 70 miles from my office. So I'm on the road every day, even if I'm just coming to the office. And one day I'll be in Asheville. Monday morning, we'll leave Guilford County at 4 a.m. and I'll be at Kitty Hawk at 9 for the plumbing contractors meeting. But speeding is one of the leading causes of accidents and driving up car insurance rates. The number one cause is distracted driving, people texting and driving, and you see it every day. They're going down the interstate at 80 miles an hour and they're texting. You'd think people wouldn't do that, but they do. The third factor is along with that speeding, you've got more impaired drivers, people driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and fewer people wearing seatbelts. So all of those four things are driving up cars. Yes, one more, she said, one more.
Yes, sir. Can you comment, please, on the Blue Cross issue?
Okay, I didn't know we was going to talk about Blue Cross, but House Bill 346. I was opposed to that bill. I'm still opposed to that bill. I don't believe that the legislators got, both sides of the picture, but I've worked closely with Blue Cross since I've been commissioner. And I'm here to tell you, Blue Cross is by far the largest health insurance company in the state of North Carolina. In 2021, their market share on the personal health insurance side was almost 83%. On the group health insurance side, it was almost 79.6%. And that was at the end of 2021. They might have slipped a little. And effective this past January, they found out they were losing the state health plan come 2025, and all of a sudden they can't compete in the state of North Carolina. So what the bill does, it was a real good title, it sounds good. The title says Reorganizations and Economic Development Act. But what the bill does, it allows Blue Cross to take your money, the policyholder money that they've accumulated. And if you want to know how much they've accumulated, go look them up. It's almost $8 billion, 7.7 billion is what they admitted assets. Just in our policy reserves, it's knocking on the door of 5 billion with a B, so it's $4.6 billion. I've been trying for 5 years to get them to give some of that money back to the policyholders. They don't want to do that. But anyway, what the bill does, it says they can take money, whatever, $1 billion or whatever they want to take, out from the Blue Cross, the insurance company, and move it to a private holding company that they create. No oversight, no transparency, nobody looking over their shoulder. So I told the legislature, you all put a lot of faith and trust on this one in Blue Cross. So I hope it works out. We're going to keep a close eye on it.
Commissioner,
Yes.
Commissioner, I just want to thank you, just quickly. I'm in the legislature and I sit on the health committee and I was on the floor, and I want to personally thank you for coming to us and bringing those concerns to us, because I was one of the few people that voted against that bill.
Thank you so much for.
I want you to know it helped.
Okay.
Commissioner, I'm in the insurance side of the, I'm in the insurance side of the equation on the adjusting side. 25, 30 years ago, your predecessor, Commissioner Long was speaking at an agents convention, and I kind of embarrassed him because I said, can't the department invest in a lamination machine, because the licenses you guys issue to these papers, they don't hold up very good in your wallet. And when I was credentialed one time, it was rolled up like a Tootsie Roll. It was kind of embarrassing. But anyway, I don't think y'all have a lamination machine. But my main question is,
I think we might need to get one.
my main question is, y'all have implemented a for catastrophe adjusters, an exam. And I see some logistical issues with that because I know Jim Long's impetus was to get people in the field and let the paperwork catch up because the public is really in need. So if any of your folks are going to hang back for the rest of the meeting, I'd like to talk to them. I see some issues with that.
Well, I'd like to talk to you about it, and that's a good point. I'm glad he mentioned it. If any of you want to serve on a task force or a board or commission, we oversee 23 boards and commissions. Now, everybody wants to be on the beach plan and the fair plan, so we got a pretty good waiting list for that one. But just let me know if there's any of the boards under us you'd like to serve on. Give me, or you know anybody that wants to, give us your card. And we do task force all the time with different things. We're looking at the pharmacy benefit managers now, auto body shops, public adjusters. So what you're talking about, if you've got some ideas and suggestions, let us know. And if we need to, we'll put together a task force on that. Thank you for having me.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the work you do to reduce our rates. We certainly do appreciate that. We donate a book to the school system, and we'd like to do it in your honor. So I'm going to ask that you sign. We have a tag back there. We usually have a tag back there. Let's see. That says Kiwanis. However, I do not see it. So oh, there it is. I saw it. I'm so sorry. So we're going to ask you to sign that. And I don't have two hands to open that for you. Let's give Commissioner Causey a great round of applause and for his time for driving up today. Yeah, right there. Thank you. And I hope you have a safe travels back.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. So we're going to go back to our agenda. So we're going to back up a little bit. We do have some other guests. So Robert, if you want to catch the other guests before they leave, if they're leaving with the commissioner, you can give out some additional applications. We appreciate that. Now I will ask everyone to please stand for our defining statement. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we move into, we're not going to do song today. I do have a fun fact. So on this day in 1791, what president visited North Carolina, as we also have our current president in North Carolina today? Can anybody answer that? Yes, that's exactly right. Well done. You get the golden star for the day. Thank you. And we're going to not have a song. Ty, will you share our invocation with us today if you'll start heading this way? Oh, George Washington. I am so very sorry. Yes, George Washington visited North Carolina in 1791.
We could bow our heads. Loving God, bless all those gathered here today as we come together in fellowship and friendship. Thank you for the blessings of our individual and collective God-given gifts. Place in our hearts the desire to make a difference to our families, to our community, to our country, and to the many cultures and peoples worldwide. Give us balance in times of distraction and uncertainty. Help us move toward our goals with determination and always with an abundant sense of humor. Thank you for the food in a world where many know only hunger, for our faith in a world where many know only fear, for friends in a world where many know only loneliness. Please bless the food that we have shared and those who prepared it and those who served it, and those who have worked to make today's meeting the special occasion that it is. For all of this, we give thanks. Amen.
So we will introduce our guest. And Jason introduced a number of guests today.
And all I'm going to do is ask, are there other guests other than the ones that Jason introduced? And I know we've got some people here that are going to be presented earlier.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me say we have Randy Hartley back today. Let's give him a big round of applause. He's looking well and doing good. And I see on the screen up there, I think Yeah, there he is. Phil Kirk is up there again today. And I visited him earlier this week, and he is going full steam ahead. He had a physical, and he got so excited by the good news he got at the physical, he walked out without his walker. They had to run down the hall and bring it to him. So that's a good sign. He's doing much better. Thank you.
Very good. And we do want to say we're so happy to see everybody online. Thank you for joining us. We do hope you'll come back and be in person with us when you can. Please take a minute to look at the birthdays on the board. So we have some birthdays this week, beginning with Judge Barnett, Sam Bunday, Jason had a birthday, Roger, Dan, I think Dan goes into next week if I do my math correctly. So happy birthday, and I hope you guys had a great time. Now we're going to move right into announcements. I do not have my phone on me at the moment, but Andy would share that the golf tournament raised about $7,800 that will, as a profit. So congratulations on the golf tournament. Well done. Robbie Wooten served the Friday last month at the Salvation Army. Thank you. And he served alone, so we'll try and do better. I just want to remind everybody, June 23rd is the next Friday that we volunteer with the Salvation Army from 4:30 to 6:30. If you can do that, please check your calendar and please let us know. Also, there's another opportunity with the Salvation Army on June 20th. June 20th from 11 a.m. to noon, Moose Tracks, there's a ice cream where we'll be serving ice cream downtown, and I'm going to open that email because Cricket is not with us today to let you know she needs 7 volunteers. 4 people have already signed up, and it's called the Scoops Challenge. And we're trying to fill a shift from 11 to 12. And the job is scooping out ice cream, handing out spoons, napkins, and helping with the line. The money, they are receiving, a sponsor is giving them money for the amount of scoops that are scooped, and that money is going to the Salvation Army. So if you can sign up on June 20th, please let Cricket know. We have 4 volunteers. We need 3 more, looking for the 11 to 12 o'clock hour. And it's also the same night that we go to the Durham Bulls. Sign-up sheets are on the table. If you can sign up for the Durham Bulls, we're excited. It's going to be a great time. We're asking that each member pay $15. We ask that you sign up in advance. If you are 2 years or below, or you bring a child or grandchild, there's no charge for 2 and under, but everyone else is the same price for the ticket. There will also be transportation provided if you want to ride together to the Durham Bulls game on Thursday, June the 20th. And what time do they? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. June the 22nd. I'm sorry. Thank you. Gwen is going to share with us the date, and you don't have the microphone. Can we get Gwen a microphone pretty quickly?
So our pancake breakfast this year will be right here on October the 21st, which I believe is the 3rd Saturday of October. So we're going to get going here pretty quickly with our whole process. And volunteers are a big part of that process. And so Jason, right up here, is heading up that committee this year. And so please go ahead and talk to Jason. He's got a spreadsheet, and he's ready to go. And if you could get your name on there early, that would be terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen. I'm going to ask Hunter to start working this way. I'm also going to ask, right after we do our new member induction, then Sandra will come up and share some good news with us and her guest. Yes, Alice, I'm sorry. It's not. It's the 20th, and the game is the 22nd. I'm so sorry. I was reading the email directly, and I misread that date. My apologies. Please note that correction. You're exactly right. Thank you, Alice. Is Hunter with? Oh, yes. Come on up, Hunter. So we're super excited. We're going to have an induction this week, and we're also going to have another induction next week. But today, we're pleased to welcome, and I do not have the pen, but we will get that next time. We're excited to welcome Hunter Bond with us today. I'm going to ask you to introduce Hunter as he brought him into the club.
Yeah, sure. I'm a little bit more prepared today. Sorry for last week. It caught me on the spot. So I'm excited to introduce Hunter. Y'all have met him already, but he's my friend and really great guy. Has all the adjectives that we use to describe a good person. Words like honest, engaging, smart, and fun. We're getting the whole package here. And he's from Sanford, lives in Raleigh now, working full-time for corporate Circle K in their real estate department. That's the gas stations, not Kiwanis. And also a full-time residential broker with a very active firm here in Raleigh. So now when I joined, I had this distinction as well. So I'll tell you this as a compliment to your bravery, not as a jab. But I believe he's now our youngest current member. So I look forward to we all look forward to a long legacy of great things from you. Welcome to Kiwanis.
So the vision of Kiwanis is to have a positive influence in communities worldwide so that one day all children will wake up in communities that believe in them, nurture them, and provide support they need to thrive. Hunter, having indicated a desire to become an active member of our club, having been approved by our board of directors as a member and having gone through our club orientation, do you agree to embrace the vision of our club and the Kiwanis organization? We welcome you to this global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. We will present you with a pen. And on behalf, I would ask everyone to please welcome Hunter to our club. Fantastic, and I'm sure we're going to get you signed up for some committees real soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Sandra. She's going to share some exciting news with us today.
Thanks, Stacy. I'm really happy today to introduce two of our Key Club Scholarship winners. I'm the advisor for Raleigh Charter High School, and Catherine Nguyen and Anna Hu are here to accept their scholarship checks. Each one of them is going to say just a few words about where they're heading. So can I start with Catherine?
Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Nguyen. I'm a recently graduated senior from Raleigh Charter High School, and I will be attending Virginia Tech this fall to major in engineering.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna. I served as the president last year of the Key Club at Raleigh Charter. I also graduated on Saturday, and I will be going to NC State to study graphic design.
Thank you so much, Anna and Catherine. Anna's mom is with us today as well. If you guys could come up, we'll get a photo in front of the, how about one on?
Sandra, we have one more recipient with us today.
Oh, fantastic.
Club, I'd like to introduce you to Kavya. She's from our Athens Drive Key Club, and we'll come on up and do the same thing as well.
Hi, I'm Kavya Sriram. I'm currently a senior at Athens Drive, and I serve as my club's president and serve as a Key Club International trustee, and I'll be going to UNC Chapel Hill in the fall to study business.
Great job. Thank you for all your hard work in school. We look forward to learning more about your future as we follow you on this journey. So congratulations. Thank you for allowing us to switch up our agenda today, and we appreciate you being here. We want you to come back. Please join us again. Have a safe and wonderful holiday weekend. Are there any announcements before I adjourn that I might have missed? Okay, have a fantastic weekend.